One more sound check.
Good morning. Join in as the Spirit moves you. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Morning breeze, spirit song, sings to me at the break of dawn. Mother Earth awakens me with the heartbeat of the sea. Morning breeze, spirit song, sings to me at the break of dawn. Mother Earth awakens me with the heartbeat of the sea. This side, keep going on this. Morning breeze, spirit song, sings to me at the break of dawn. This side, we're going to do Ancient Mother. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laugh. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Morning breeze, spirit, Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Mother. One more time, but softly. Ancient morning breeze, spirit song. Good morning. To me at the break of dawn.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Cleveland. My name is Laura Christian Imbornoni, and I'm happy to greet everybody today here in the sanctuary, as well as our valued virtual attendees. A special welcome to you if you're joining us for the first time, and if you'd like more information about our congregation, you can fill out one of the guest cards in the pew rack in front of you. You can place that card in the offering plate when it comes around later. If you're joining us virtually, see our website, uucleveland.org, for more information. We acknowledge that we're gathering on the lands once inhabited by the Erie, Haudenosaunee, and Anishinaabe peoples, also known as the Three Fires Council. We realize the responsibility to care for this land we inhabit now and to respect the diverse cultures who preceded us, as well as those who gather here in our era. Now we're about to enter into sacred space. Please take a moment to turn your phones off to worship mode. And today we have Ben Hockerman, who's in the 2nd grade, and told me just a moment ago that he's very proud to be lighting the chalice today. So Ben, you can go right over there now. And we're proud to have him here today. If you like, you can read the covenant as Ben lights the chalice, and it's on the yellow card in the pew in front of you. We cultivate trust with one another by celebrating differences, honoring boundaries, and offering compassion and care. We listen to each other deeply with curiosity and wonder. We speak for ourselves without need to defend ourselves or persuade each other. We create safe and brave space for healthy conflict, creativity, and fun. We reconcile through forgiving and making amends when we hurt one another.
Thank you to our chalice lighters. See, if you sit in the balcony, I don't always know that you are around, so you might have to make sure I know if you want to light a chalice and be in and among some of our other folks. But that's okay. I'm glad we found you today. My name is the Reverend Randy Partain. My pronouns are they, them, and I am delighted to be with you in worship today, whether you're joining us in person or online. Thought we'd start this morning with a little bit of a micro practice as a call to worship. So if you are in a place where you can kind of feel gravity a bit, where you can feel held by the pew, if your feet are touching the ground, that's great. If they don't, at least you can feel the solid pew underneath you. And just take a moment to feel that grounding, that connection with the earth holding you in place. The earth is not going to let you go flying off into space. The earth has you. And from that place of trust, I wonder if you can sense a connection, some connection with another human being in this room maybe someone in your family, maybe someone close to you. Or maybe there's a person not in this room that you feel a deep connection to. What does that connection feel like? And then if you extend that connection and you think about the beings in this space, maybe not in this space, but around you, and just let people know, I'm glad you're here, especially if you see a face you don't recognize, make sure to introduce yourself and let them know, I'm glad you're here today. I hope you met someone new just before we sang. I got to meet a few new people today. It's so wonderful to have you with us. In that spirit of connection, we recognize that when we come into this space, we bring a lot with us. Sometimes we feel like we have to leave parts of who we are outside of a space like this, and that doesn't really help us or anybody else. So we bring all of who we are into this space in a spirit of connection. And we name some of those things. Some of those we keep to ourselves, but we name some of those things that we bring with us because they're important. So if you're joining us online today, I invite you to put any joys or concerns that you're carrying today that you want the congregation to know about. Just put those in the comments below the video. And if you're here in person, we have a Joys and Concerns book that people often write things in. We have several today. One is a stone, I don't know exactly what word I would put with this, a stone of honor, I suppose. For Bob McKim, UUC member and archivist, was honored on Arbor Day by South Euclid. They planted an oak tree in honor of Bob's service to the community and his role as an archivist and president of the South Euclid Lyndhurst Historical Society. So we celebrate with Bob. We also have a stone of grief today. Longtime member Marilyn Bentley passed away last Tuesday, April 22nd, at her home in Breckenridge Village. And she will be celebrated at a family gathering at a later time, and we may do something here for those in the community that valued connection with Marilyn. And longtime UU Society member Muriel Senseman died Tuesday before last. So our thoughts are sent to Wes Senseman. There are no plans for a memorial service yet, but if there are any announced, then we will let you know. A stone of care for Wes. And stone of gratitude. Thanks for all the good thoughts for David Cantor. He came through his back surgery very well and is recuperating at home. And there's also a note to pray for Mary Ellen's mental health, but I think that's just a... We have a lot of members of our community that are in the midst of caring for loved ones who are either declining or on the threshold of transition. And so our hearts go out, our care to all of those families who have someone close to them, either at home or at a place nearby where they're about to transition from this life. It's a lot to hold, and so we hold it all together. And I invite you to come forward now and place a stone in the water for anything else you want to acknowledge, any joys or concerns that you carry with you. And if you're not coming forward to place stones in the water, I just invite you to extend your care to those who are coming forward. We place a stone for those joys or concerns shared online today. And we perhaps marvel for a moment at the unseen things that connect us to one another, and that we ask and honor one another with the opportunity to hold together. We get this visual representation of it for a moment, once a week, that reminds us that we are connected, and that there's something tangible that we can see that reminds us of that. May we honor that connection in the time to come, so that by sharing our burdens, they are lessened, and by sharing our joys, they are magnified. Amen. Blessed be.
Good morning. My name is Jenny Papp. I am the Director of Lifespan Faith Development in this congregation. And today is the last Sunday in May. And we have been, right? April. Thank you. It takes a village. So the last Sunday in April, and I think we've had 5 Sundays this month, and we have been celebrating joy, this practice of joy in our lives all month. And today, on this last Sunday, we are also lifting up the earth and the natural world. And so I thought I would take just a couple minutes, because I find a lot of joy in being outdoors. I love digging in the earth. That's mostly what feels good to me. And no matter how often I do it, it's always really joyful. So a couple, 10 years ago, I discovered soil, how happy soil made me, and every time. And then, well, no, I discovered that maybe a few years earlier. About 10 years ago, I figured out how to make my own soil. And that was cool. I have partners in making my own soil. Right here. What is in here? Soil. Microbes. Worms. They make me so happy when I discovered, and they've been in the dark, so they're all right on top right now. Anybody want to see? Okay, so wait, that's why I brought a container. And but I have to feed them, because they don't work for free. And I give them food, and they give me soil. Anybody want to see the worms? They're right on the edge there. They're right on top. Anyone? All right, well, we'll make it easier. So, you want to see the worms? If you want to see the worms, come a little closer. These are special worms, red wigglers. See them right there? There's also, what else is in there? What else is in there? Nitrogen, sure. Someone just said worm poop. There they are. They don't jump. You want to see the worms? See them right there? They're tiny, tiny worms. They just bring me joy. I'm serious. So, totally. So I'm going to dump them out in here, because they'll be easier. Oh, some of them they'll be easier to see. Oh, yeah. So they'll survive, absolutely. So I keep them in my office. I have a not here, it's safe, not here. At home, I have a really large bin, and I feed them. This is the kind of stuff I feed them. I'll go further back, because I didn't go back here before. What do we see in here? What did I feed them? What's in there, do you see, Bridget? Old vegetables, yeah. Carrots. There's a paper towel. I think there's some old cilantro wrapped up in there. This is, compost. There's beets and paper towels and asparagus and kale. Did everybody get to see the worms if they want to see them? See them in there crawling around? Some eggshells in there. Anyways, it makes me happy. It brings me joy. And you know what? No matter how long it's been that I figured this out, it still brings me joy. I put the stuff in there, and they eat it, and it's gone. How do you suppose, what are they doing? What are my partners doing? Pooping. It's soil. Is it really soil? Yeah, it is. It is, see? No, it's not. It's the real stuff. See him? You want to touch it? Yeah, see? Anyways, that's all. I wanted to share my joy in soil. And we could feed them. Who wants to dump in the food? Anybody want to dump in the food? Oh, come on, raise a hand. There you go, Harrison. Plus, you might want to touch them. You want to touch them? See them? Do they give you joy? Mm-hmm. They do. See? Look at that. They're cute. All right, dump it in there. Just take the bag, dump it in there. We'll feed them. They do like it dark. So by the time the service is over, you won't be able to probably see them until you dig around a little bit. See there? But we'll let them hang out for the service. When you go out into the natural world, take a moment every time and just find some joy. And it never stops. It could be the same darn thing every time, and it's still joyful. There you go. I am. That's right. Thank you. Clean my hands. Our offering partner today is the Impact Youth Enrichment Program. That is a partnership with this congregation, UUCC, and the Shaker Heights Youth Center. It's in its 23rd year. That's a long partnership. Their goal is to provide a safe learning environment and a welcoming atmosphere. Both of those create a sense of belonging for the Impact youth. Not only does Impact offer a safe place to spend quality time, it provides students an opportunity to develop the necessary skills that will take them throughout life. And it does that by encouraging healthy choices, practicing healthy choices. They maintain an inclusive environment, and it acknowledges and respects the children from diverse cultures and backgrounds. Their goal is to support and nurture all students. And I want to invite their director, Ms. Sandy Troop, and the staff and youth that she has brought with her, as well as some of our UUCC partners up here to share a little bit more with you. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. You pretty much did a great synopsis of what I was getting ready to say, so I'm going to have to change my speech a little bit, which is awesome. But first and foremost, let me thank Reverend Randy. Let me thank the UUC board. They are awesome. And let me thank our foundations and the Shaker Youth Center, because they provide so much support for us. But we also want to thank you for housing us and giving us your support for 23 years, which is awesome. This is an amazing program. We are the only program here in Shaker that is free that offers services to the students, whatever they may need. So with that being said, I'm going to let each one of our employees give some information about the program. Ms. Jackson first.
Good morning. My name is Ethel Jackson Martin. I'm the family liaison for Impact Youth Enrichment. I have here a letter from a teacher, Mrs. Deanna Crawford. She's a sixth grade language and literature teacher over at Shaker Heights Middle School, and she just wanted to share just how the positive impact she's seen with one of her students, and I'm gonna read her letter. I have been Malik's language and literature teacher since the beginning of the year. These last 2 weeks with Malik have been significantly different from other months. I have always known him to be very smart and capable of doing wonderful things. However, I don't know that he knew that about himself. One day, I told him that he was doing great and that I was proud of him. The following day, he shared with me that he got his grades up and that he was accepted into Impact Youth Enrichment program. For the first time, I saw that he was proud of himself and he was motivated by the acceptance into this program. I can tell that being a part of this program might be exactly what Malik needs to continue to believe in himself and reach goals that I've always known him to be able to reach. And you can talk about Malik.
Just to piggyback off of this particular student, he did have some challenges with his behavior as well as his grades, but we worked together to build some skills. And one day he came to me, he says, Ms. Troop, I really want to just come to this program. I want to see what this is about. And he sent me an email just recently, and he said, check my grades, check my grades. So I said, okay. So I sent him an email back. I said, meet me in the office. Let's call your mother right now. Said, and we called his mother, and we asked if he can come. And she said he can't come today because he has to do his chores first, but he is more than welcome to come on Wednesday. And since he has come, he enjoys the program, and his mother wants to know, can he come for the summer? Of course he can. So, thank you. Yes. So Ms. Brianna will speak next.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brianna Young, and I'm the program coordinator for the Impact Youth Enrichment Program. We have two students who are going to speak about what impact means to them and how it's affected them. Unfortunately, we have only these two students because a lot of our other students are getting ready for the Washington, D.C. trip with the middle school, and they have prior engagements. But I would be happy to introduce Jelani and Jayasi, who are 6th and 7th grade students that attend the program.
Good morning. I think impact is good for us because it helps us with our homework and our behavioral problems. It helps us from stop being mean to each other and help support each other instead of being negative to each other always, and stop having a negative effect around us and start having a positive effect. And I think an example of this is because when Ms. Troop helped me do my math homework, she brought me to help me do my math homework, and that really helped my grade out in my quarter. And it helped me improve on my homework and my behavioral skills when going into class and doing my homework and paying attention, because I used to not do that, and I used to put my head down and not pay attention. But then when I went to Impact, it helped me improve, and I started paying attention, and I got my grades up better, and it helped me really improve with everything, and I'm grateful that I got to be a part of Impact today.
Hi. One thing I like about Impact is that in and out of summer we get to see movies and snacks are provided. I like that we get to go outside and play and that they restrict our phones so we could be a kid still. I like that they plant natural food and don't give us processed food, and that they help us with our homework. For instance, Miss Troop again, she helped me with my homework before, and she keep checking my grades and tell me to keep up on them because she don't want me to get out of Impact. Another thing I like about Impact is that my grades used to be bad, but when I came into Impact, my grades started to improve, and I started to act better. One thing that they teach us is to stop saying yeah and what and start saying yes and start having better posture. Another thing is that stop disrespecting your parents and stop doing bad things. I used to do that, not disrespecting the parents, and now I do better posture, have better things, and I do better in life.
Hi, this is Ray Gonzalez. I have the honor of being a member of the advisory board for Impact, and we really can't do this without both partnership between UUCC and the Shaker Youth Center, but we also have foundations that support us. I took over the responsibility of being the foundation liaison from Jan Devereaux a few years ago, who did really great work in getting these folks on. So a nice shout out to Jan Devereaux for all her hard work, please. So we have a plaque here that's going to go up by the Impact office, and it reads, in appreciation, the Impact program recognizes the following foundations for the steadfast support to help students navigate middle school. The Char and Chuck Fowler Family Foundation, the Samuel H. and Maria Miller Foundation, Ronald and Deborah Ratner Family Foundation, and the William N. Weiss Foundation. These are all ones that donated money for many years for Impact, thanks to Jan Devereaux's work. So after the service, we have a cake downstairs for everybody to have a little snack on, and we'll have the folks from Impact downstairs if you have any questions to talk about, and we'll have some flyers also about what we're doing in our annual report. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone from Impact. How wonderful. What a wonderful presentation. Please place your offering, cash or check, made payable to UUCC in the collection plate as it's passed. You may also contribute via Cash App to $UUCC 44122. Please use the memo line to indicate today's date, April 27, and our plate recipient, Impact. Really? How's that? All right. I have a reading today from the Ute Native people of North America. Earth, teach us stillness, as the grasses are stilled with the light. Earth, teach us suffering, as old stones suffer with memory. Earth, teach us humility, as blossoms are humble with beginning. Earth, teach us caring, as a mother secures her young. Earth, teach us courage, as the tree that stands alone. Earth, teach us limitation, as the ant that crawls on the ground. Earth, teach us freedom, freedom, as the eagle which soars in the sky. Earth, teach us resignation, as the leaves which die in the fall. Earth, teach us regeneration, as the seed which rises in the spring. Earth, teach me to forget myself, as melted snow forgets to itself. Earth, teach me to remember kindness, as the dry fields weep in the rain.
Strange thing about connection is that it can bring us a sense of joyfulness, a sense of peace, but also it can make us feel a bit anxious when we are connected to something. When we start to care about something, then suddenly that becomes a concern for us sometimes. And our connection to the earth right now prompts a little bit of anxiety for a lot of us. So when we talk about the earth, there might be some of you that feel certain muscles kind of tighten up and you get a little bit concerned because you care, because that connection is there. Would you want some good news? I thought you might. I've prepared a bit of good news for you. For the first time since the 1940s, more than 40% of global electricity is being produced by clean power. For the first time since the 40s. Clean electricity reached a historic 40.9% of global power last year. And solar and wind together have exceeded hydropower for the first time. Solar is leading the charge, now doubling every 3 years. There are 80 countries now generating over half of their electricity from clean sources. Pretty impressive. Finland is almost coal-free, 4 years ahead of when they were scheduled. They have virtually eliminated coal power. Less than 1% of its energy mix is from coal. Wind energy has more than doubled in Finland since 2020. It now supplies a quarter of the country's electricity while reducing consumer prices, which is also nice. The transition has cut Finland's emissions by 5% and boosted their energy dependence because they don't have to rely on Russian imports for energy now. That's great for Finland. Uruguay has revolutionized its energy system, slashing imported oil dependency from 50% in 2008 to just 9% today. And they have built one of the world's cleanest electricity grids. They experienced some drought and some oil price shocks, and they pivoted as a nation to wind power. which delivers electricity at a third of the cost of oil-generated power. So that shift created 50,000 jobs and turned Uruguay into an electricity exporter rather than an importer. That's pretty amazing. But those are little countries, right? So let me tell you about the UK. Last year, emissions in the United Kingdom fell to their lowest level since 1872. UK greenhouse gas emissions fell 3.6% in 2024, reaching levels that have not been seen since Victorian times. Coal plummeted 54% to its lowest level since 1666 in the UK. Because they closed the last coal-fired power station in the country. And also, electric vehicle sales have risen by almost 40%, which is saving drivers a lot of money on fuel. So many electric vehicle options that go beyond just one name. Lots of options. Britain is undergoing a solar revolution too. They are positioned to triple their solar capacity in the next 5 years. In the last year, solar installations on new homes in the UK were at 42%. That's almost half of new homes being built with solar panels. Nearly 3,500 utility-scale solar farms are now in planning, and the National Grid is spending a lot of money on this overhaul to include 17 major projects to handle renewable electricity, and the costs are still dropping. Fossil gas is now almost 3 times more expensive than solar. Saving the world is cheaper than we thought, and it's cheaper than ruining it. How's that for good news? Okay. Let me tell you about India. India has long been accused of being way behind in sustainable energy, and in the last 4 years, India has suddenly leapt ahead. Solar capacity has doubled since 1921. Now India has overtaken Germany to become the world's 3rd largest generator of wind and solar electricity. But what about us? No, there's good news here too. See, we're primed to think that it's all horrible. There's a new report out that shows that the United States installed 50 gigawatts of new solar in 2024. That's the largest single year of new capacity added to our grid by any energy technology in 2 decades. Solar and batteries are going to supply 4/5 of new power in the United States this year. And 5% of the remaining coal plants are scheduled to be retired this year. That's twice last year's closure rate. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's twice what last year's closure rate was. Utility-scale solar in the United States is up 46% in the first 70 days of this year. Solar and wind installations are set to outpace fossil fuels despite the political rhetoric that we keep hearing. Even in conservative states, Texas has produced almost twice the wind and solar electricity as California in the last year. And Texas is now leading the country in solar manufacturing, while fossil gas construction has stalled amid soaring electricity needs. People know, people recognize that there are options, there are things that we can do. But it's not just individual countries. Countries have now agreed on the first ever binding targets for global shipping emissions. So countries are collaborating with each other too. The International Maritime Organization has secured an agreement on mandatory emissions targets requiring shipping, which accounts for about 3% of global emissions, to reach net zero by 2050. So starting in 3 years, ships that exceed emissions thresholds are going to have to face financial penalties. And this is a big deal because it sends a market-wide signal that efficiency pays. And it unlocks an estimated $40 billion in annual carbon revenues. That's one of the largest pools of climate finance ever created. Renewable energy accounts for 93% of new power capacity. And emissions in advanced economies have fallen to 50-year lows. It's true that developing countries are driving emissions, but because of where technology is, they are poised to leapfrog over fossil fuel dependence because the technology is there for them to start off with cleaner energy. So, I could tell you about China, China is leagues ahead of any other country on wind and solar and electric vehicles, and green tech now contributes significantly more to its economy than any other major power. But what I want to tell you is that China planted 76,000 square kilometers of forest last year. More than 6,200 pocket parks were created around urban areas. 50,000 kilometers of highways were greened. Over 50,000 hectares of land underwent ecological restoration. The country has also rehabilitated around 38,000 square kilometers of sandy and stony land as part of the 3 North Shelter Belt Forest Program. I'm doing what I encourage our worship associates not to do when we talk about offering partners, because I'm throwing a bunch of numbers at you. I just want you to hear how big the numbers are, and I want you to hear how many there are in so many different places. There's not going to be a quiz on this. I promise you, you will not have to tell me how many hectares of reforested land there were in China last year. But China's not the only place doing that. Colombia expanded the Gran Valpes Indigenous Reserve by 589 square kilometers. And I know, if you're doing the math in your head, 589 square kilometers is only about half the size of Cuyahoga County, Randy. That's not very big. I know you wanted to tell me that. But because of where this is situated, even though that's a smaller patch of land, that's going to protect dense Amazonian primeval forest and strengthen the self-governing of 32 indigenous communities to mitigate environmental threats from occupation by outsiders. And that's only one of many preservation efforts. Since 2018, Acción Andina has launched 23 projects. They've engaged 25,000 people or more in the restoration of 50 square kilometers of Andean forests and protection of more than 112 square kilometers of existing woodland. 200 or more local communities have benefited from the expanding economic opportunities through reforestation and conservation efforts. They've planted nearly 12 million trees across 6 countries. And there's a new study that finds that all of these conservation efforts are actually bringing species back from extinction. The California condor is a great example of this, rebounding from extinction. In 1987, there were 22, period. That's a small number. 22 California condors. And now there are 561. Still a small number, but it's a lot more than 22. And 344 of them are flying free. So this is because of innovative breeding techniques, genetic research, and cross-border collaborations between US and Mexican institutions. And Greece's Mediterranean monk seals are back from the brink of extinction after decades of conservation efforts over time to protect marine ecosystems and rehabilitate orphaned and injured seals. They're back. On the other side of the globe, endangered Caribbean reef sharks are bouncing back in Belize because of no-shark fishing zones around 3 atolls that were established a couple of years ago. Local shark fishers have cooperated with marine scientists and authorities to create safe havens for the shark, and so they are rebounding. I'm going to skip that one because I want to talk about the Tasmanian devil. After 3,000 years of absence on mainland Australia, Tasmanian devils have now been released into a protected sanctuary in New South Wales. This rewilding initiative aims to restore ecological balance by reintroducing these apex predators to their native land so that they can control invasive foxes and cats that are devastating the native wildlife. Minks and beavers and otters and turtles are back at the Chicago River. Before the Clean Water Act of 1972, the Chicago River was known as Bubbly Creek because of the dumping of industrial waste and sewage. Today, after decades-long efforts, the river has been cleaned up. It supports more than 60 species of fish compared to 10 species a few years back. And after 5 decades of restoration work, the native trout population of Lake Champlain, one of the largest lakes in the US, is now self-sustaining, so it doesn't need any help from people. The Thames River was declared biologically dead 60 years ago, and now it's thriving. And there's more progress to come. There's a Transforming the Thames Coalition that has put together a $5 million mission to restore key habitats and protect wildlife like European eels and water-filtering oysters and porpoises and seahorses and lapwings. And other industries that don't seem to have anything to do with the ecology of eels and trout and all of that stuff are still making revolutionary changes. Boston Metal has successfully produced over a ton of steel using electricity instead of coal. That's a pivotal milestone for decarbonizing one of the world's most polluting industries. CATL, I don't know exactly how you say it, but it's the world's largest battery maker. They just unveiled its next generation of EV battery that offers 323-mile range from a 5-minute charge. There are amazing things happening all over the globe. People are aware of the problems with our ecology, and we are doing something about it. And we hear a lot of the bad news, and we hear a lot of the predictions about what's going to happen in the future and what direction we're going, and yet there are stories there, hopeful stories, joyful stories about people who are doing things in partnership with the environment. We have to look for them. All the horrifying news seems too important to ignore when it comes across our screens, but it will make us sick if that's all we ingest. We have to look for these stories of positive change, of hopefulness, because people are doing sacred work. People are recognizing that we are connected to the natural world. We're a part of it. We are interdependent. We're not separate from it. We're not the predators of all other nature. And Robin Wall Kimmerer writes, even a wounded world is feeding us. Even a wounded world holds us, giving us moments of wonder and joy. So I choose joy over despair, not because I have my head in the sand, but because joy is what the earth gives me daily, and I must return the gift. So I named all of these different projects and overwhelmed you with good news because I wanted you to understand that there's not one group of people out there doing all of this work. This is not like the Avengers of ecological work. This is lots of people, lots of institutions, government agencies, conservation groups, focusing on an area of need with the hope and the confidence that they can do something that will make a difference, and the trust that other people, other groups, other organizations are going to focus on other areas of need, and that collectively we all improve everything. You do not have to hold it all. The sacred work for you to do, in addition to the sacred work of seeking out the joyful news, the sacred work for you to do is to name what is yours to hold. What is it that you want to invest your care in? And how can you find the other people who are choosing that area of focus? And trust that someone else, other groups, will be reforesting China and helping the Thames River. We are facing an ecological crisis. That's no longer true. But it's still possible to do something about it. All is not lost. Far from it. So receive the gift of joy from the earth and return that gift with hope and love and interdependence in a way that is uniquely yours to do. I believe in this place you will find partners, but you will at least find others who will encourage you and remind you of the hope that is there. May we be joyful in our going. And may we be joyful in our singing as we rise in body or spirit and sing together Blue Boat Home. This is hymn number 1064 in the teal hymnal. And I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we lift our voices. there is sacred and holy work to be done as we care for our planet, and it is also sacred and holy work to connect with the world around us, to recognize the joyfulness that is there for us, and the joyfulness that is there in our community. And some of our joy comes from flute music, because this evening there is a flute concert right here at 7 p.m. It's the Greater Cleveland Flute Society. If you were here a couple of weeks ago, you heard some of these performers in our worship service, so you know how talented they are. That is going to be in this space at 7 p.m., and it's free this evening. Also, we have been celebrating joy this month with some eggs. There are wooden painted eggs that have been hidden around the building, and some of them have been found, and you have taken them home as symbols of joy. Some of them are here in an egg basket on the windowsill that have been discovered. If you did not get an egg and would like a real easy picking kind of find an egg, they're in that basket right there. There are still some wooden painted eggs hidden around the building that have not been found, or that people have just re-hidden in the same place over and over again. If you find them, please take them, keep them as symbols of joy, and remind you to practice joyfulness. No need to re-hide them. Or re-hide them. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Today, there is a Considering Membership class. It is the first of a few. We're going to do Considering Membership in a series instead of one big chunk. And the first one of those is happening today. If you did not hear about it, you are still welcome to attend. It's going to be in the conference room, which is right on the other side of that wall. And that's going to be after the service today. Get a little coffee first and come on up for the Considering Membership class. In the fellowship hall today, Ridall Green Partnership is a regular recipient of our Sunday plate donations because of the wonderful work that they are doing in Cleveland's Forgotten Triangle, is what it's called. So you can see what it's all about after worship today in the fellowship hall. There is a film called Regenerating Community, and I believe Dr. Greenhand is going to be present representing Ridall. So you are welcome to attend that. I also want to let you know that we have religious education exploration programs for all ages happening after the service. If you're junior, senior high, it's on this floor toward that end of the hallway. If you are younger folks, then it's on the first floor, that end of the hallway. And there's also a Parents and Caregivers as Sexuality Educators that is happening in room 106. You also do not have to be registered in advance for that. That'll be in room 106. And Free Cycle is next Sunday. So bring your things that you no longer want and let somebody else take them until they no longer want them and bring them back to Free Cycle. That'll be next Sunday after worship service. That'll be under the solar panels. The tables will be set up. If there are things you want to get rid of and don't want to throw away that are still useful and not broken things, you hear what I'm saying, right? Don't bring garbage. Bring stuff that other people will be able to use to Free Cycle next week. Hear again these words from Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water. And I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Be free. Go with peace and courage.
It's time to extinguish our chalice today, and you're invited to join me in reading these words. Please look for extinguishing the chalice on the yellow card on the back of the pew in front of you. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we